Alright, so for this video, I don't know, if you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen, but I've seen some strange things in SMITE recently, and honestly, like, I don't know if it's just on the weekend, but like, noobs come out like crazy, and I don't know what it is. So I just wanted to like, just describe some of the the games I've had. If the game playing in the background was a game I just played just for the background, but the character I'm playing, the goddess, is Awilix, which is how they pronounce it in game. If you're an expert, supposedly she's called Awilish. The X is apparently pronounced like an SH, but who cares? So the first game, I've been playing the Siege a lot, first of all, which is the closest to Conquest I've ever come. So I'm getting there. But what happened? There was this one game. I was on a 12-game win streak when I started this goddess, which is insane in Smite because usually you lose most games because of things I'll talk about. But I played a game and we had a Nox on our team. Nox is a mage. I won't explain all these technical terms if you don't know the game. If you want to look them up, you can, so you understand them better. But or you can ask me in the comments, whatever. But so we had a Nox, and their team had a Loki, and Loki's really obnoxious. But honestly, he's a pub stomp. Like that's what he does. He's good at pub stomping, which basically means he's good at just destroying people who don't know what they're doing. But against skilled players, he's pretty easy to shut down. So I'm like, fine, it's okay. I'm hoping the matchmaking, did what it was supposed to, and I'm with people who at least have some kind of knowledge of the game. Of course, that wasn't the case. So we start the game, and I'm pretty sure I was in lane with Nox, and a few minutes in, she gets ulted by Loki. She dies. So she's irritated. Like, whatever, it happens. She had only built her boots first. So it's like she's only on our first item, so it's no big deal. It's whatever. So as the game progresses and she dies a few more times to Loki, I see her building physical defense because Loki's a physical god, and I'm like, okay, I understand. Like you don't want to get bursted down. Maybe that's not the best route. In my mind, I'm thinking get Warlock Sash, which gives you a ton of health. Because then when you have that health, it helps you survive the burst more. Because defense only does so much. If you have 1,000 health and you have a lot of defense, that's nice, but you still only have 1,000 health. So whatever damage does get through is still a considerable amount. But if you have, like, say, 2,000 health and a little less protection, that's okay because the damage that gets through isn't as significant, is not as big of a fraction of your total health. But she didn't understand that. So second item is a defense item. I'm like, okay, fine. She'd probably go back in the normal build. Third item, defense item. I'm like, okay, so now you're not doing anything at this point, and she's wondering why, and like she keeps freaking out because she can't get any damage off. And she did get a few kills, mind you, but that's because I bursted them down from 100 to like 2%, and then she was like, oh, time to ult. It's like, even though her ult has 0 power added onto it, I mean, it still does a decent amount of base damage. But so the game progressed, and eventually we lost pretty hard because I didn't have any support in my lane, and the other lane was like, they were doing okay. They were pretty much losing lane. Oh, I just got wrecked right there. But so it just kind of blew my mind because like this person was a level 30. That means he played a decent amount of the game, and I just don't understand why they thought building defense, this straight defense, was the best idea. And even so, if you're gonna do that, I mean, you have to engage. Like, you are now. That's all you can do is start a fight. You can't burst anyone down. But she didn't get that. And it's just like, and there's not just one way to build any god in the game. There's so many different builds, and counter building can take multiple routes depending on what you're trying to counter. But counter building is important, especially when you're playing a game that requires you to usually be up against the same opponent in lane. So like that Nox, what I would have done personally, I can't even remember what the item's called, but there's a helmet if you play Smite, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you just search for items, just search Helm, it's like 1700 gold. It's not expensive. It gives you 45 power, I think 30 protections or something like that, physical protections, and 15 penetration. 15 penetration is a lot of penetration. And that would have been fine, because now she has a little more survivability. She has penetration and power, meaning that if this Loki attacks her and she combos him, she can possibly kill him. And on top of that, if she would get Warlock Sash as well, she would be even that much harder to kill. So she didn't understand that, and then she was freaking out, and then it was everyone else's fault that we were losing. So, but that's how all players in Smite is. If you are losing the game, it is never your fault. It is always your teammate's fault. You don't ever take responsibility. I don't know why that is. I don't know if people just don't want to look bad. I don't know. So that game was irritating. It was fine. Then I don't know if it was the game right after, but it was definitely a game shortly after. I get into the game and I play with a Cabrakan. Cabrakan's a guardian, meaning he's naturally tanky, and he's supposed to build tanky usually, although Cabrakan is also nicknamed Cabroken because you can build in power and pretty much one-shot anybody. It's pretty gross. But his passive gives him 5% extra damage mitigation, so it means 5% of all incoming damage doesn't affect him. Which is only 5%, but that can be the difference between you escaping with 10 health and, well, being dead. Which happens a lot more in this game than you would think. So I'm like, okay, this is fine. He's in the rotation, and I see he doesn't have any mastery on him, so he's never really played him, but that's fine. I mean, there's a pretty good chance that he's played other gods a considerable amount, so he knows at least a little bit what he's doing. So we get into the game, and in game types like Siege or Conquest, you always go for the buffs. If you look on the minimap, on the game playing in the background, you can see like the circles that are kind of half filled in, and they're like, it looks like kind of like a clock, like a meter or whatnot. There's 4 jungle buffs. There's 2 blue ones, a red one, and a purple one. So usually what happens is, you know, like your assassin or your warrior or whoever is going to be doing damage with their abilities mostly, but it's usually physical. Usually they grab the red buff. People who are mana hungry early, especially mages, grab blue buff, and your hunter or attack based mage will grab the attack speed buff. 4 players in Siege, 4 buffs. Everyone gets a buff. So I go into the jungle, wait by my buff, and I see Cabrakan. He just shoots down left lane, like he needs to get there right away. Now mind you, there's like a minute and a half before the game starts. Like there's a countdown timer, so nothing actually happens for a minute and a half. I mean, you can fight the other team at this double kill. That was beautiful. I don't know how they managed to line that up for me. I wish I would have the triple, but that's besides the point. So he just shoots down left lane, and he's like, come help me. And he's like, someone go right. I'm like, dude, come to the jungle and get our buffs first. He's like, alright, you get your buffs, I'm gonna be here. I'm like, that's not okay, whatever. Like, maybe he just doesn't need it. Like, maybe he has pots. No, he doesn't have any potions, so he has no sustainability. So at that point, I should have known kind of how the game was gonna go. I should have known. Also, around this point, our ADC, I think it was a Rama, he disconnects, which is another thing that ruins any game for you. If a player disconnects, it is pretty much over. I don't think I've ever won a game where we had started a man down. I have had games where people came back. I played a Siege game where someone left immediately. We didn't have them for the first 10 minutes. They came back, farmed up, got all their items, and we destroyed them late game. It was great. It was actually one of the best games I can think of off the top of my head. But so this Cabrakan just shoots down the lane, and he's standing right in front of their tower, just right there. I'm like, I don't know like what he's kind of thinking about doing. I don't know if he just wants to straight up just aggress as soon as the game starts, which doesn't make sense because there's minions and no one's gonna like just voluntarily. Actually, someone should have voluntarily fought him if he would have been close enough, if he took a while on their buffs. So, anyway, Then he steps into tower and takes 2 tower shots. So I'm like, okay, and he like backs off like a lot, like as if he didn't know the tower was gonna shoot him. So I'm like, okay. I was like, I don't know if he's trolling or if he just genuinely didn't know that towers shoot you, which doesn't make sense to me. But then the minion wave spawns, I see them come down, and then he activates his one ability that speeds him up, and he just charges straight into the minion wave towards 2 people and starts hammering them. So I'm just like, I'm sitting back there with my abilities on cooldown because I'm trying to clear the wave, and this man is just trying to take on 2 people in the middle of their minion wave. So needless to say, he gets melted in like 2 seconds. And I'm sitting there like just kind of in shock, like I didn't know how to respond because I wasn't expecting that. And then I see in the chat he's like, help me. I'm like, you're kidding, right? You can't be serious. You don't you don't do that. There's no situation in where we get a kill and both come out alive. That's not gonna happen. So I mean, if you don't know, for the first couple levels in the game, I honestly can't even think like about what level. It's not a big of a problem. But minions hurt. Minions hurt a lot early game, which is why you will never see, if you watch a video of anyone playing Smite, it's probably gonna be Conquest. You will never see anyone in a lane attack the person immediately. If you attack enemy players, the minions will focus on you. Also, if you're the closest thing to the minion, if you like enter the minion range before your minions do, the minions will attack you. So I don't know why he thought that it was a good idea to not only rush 2 people by himself without any kind of heads up, like not even like, hey, let's attack, so that I could have like responded and said, no, that's a bad idea. He just straight up dove them, and I mean, I just don't know what the results he expected were. So like, I'm thinking like, okay, either this guy's a troll or he's really just bad at the game. And stupid me didn't even check his level after the game. But I didn't understand that, because like, you have to complete training. So you have at least, even if it was his first game, he has to have some idea what he's doing. And it's just like, it blew my mind. Like, this is early game, you don't have any items. I don't have any items. I can't do anything. My ult's not even ready. What am I supposed to do? So, yeah, that game went downhill quick. Rama actually came back late in the game. He was really nice. He was like, oh, sorry guys, this happened, blah blah blah. But dude, it's too late. Look at this Cabrakan. And then he didn't say anything the rest of the game. So we forfeited. We surrendered. But it's just, I didn't understand. Like, it's okay. Like, if you're super new to the game, like, understand you're not gonna do some of the smartest things. Like, when I started, I played Raw, and I honestly just didn't know how to play them, and I got killed a lot because Raw is squishy and has no escape in the first place. But I mean, I don't know if it was just a fail in the matchmaking or he was just genuinely stupid. I just don't know. It was terrible. But then there were less prominent. I don't know. There were other examples that happened similar to these, but those were the most extreme. Just like the counter building. Going back to that, like, for example, like if there are 5 physical gods on the other team, you don't build magical defense. I've seen people do that. That happens mostly in Assault, because Assault's a random role. I say random because I don't really think it's that random, because usually you get screwed over with the rerolls, or the teams are both physical or both magical, or you know, you try to reroll from an assassin, you get another assassin when there's how many other gods in the game. Happens a lot. But if the other team is all physical, you don't build magical defense. You don't need it. There is 0 reason for you to build magical defense. I don't care if you're like, oh well, Heart Word Amulet gives me MP5, and I need that for Assault. Like, dude, buy some mana potions and you'll be fine. You don't need to waste 1 item slot out of 6 just to get MP5. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But that's how people are. I don't know. So it was just, it's been a great time. I'm trying to take more breaks from Smite because it's been something else. Lag people who leave, noobs, they will all ruin the game for you. It is really fun, but you just have to find the right people. So I guess that's kind of like a how not to play Smite video slash just my horror stories, but I hope you enjoyed. I don't really know what I'm gonna do for the next video I'm gonna make. I know it's been a while. I've been working a lot, so I guess we'll have to see. So, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to know anything about the game that I might have not talked about, go ahead, leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I check up on my comments on my channel when I can. Like I said, I just work a lot and school's starting this week, so I have a lot to do. But I will respond to you if you leave a comment. There will be a response at some point, promise. So, like I said, don't know what I'm doing. I can't make any promises on the next video. I could say next week and it not be for another 3 weeks. I could say it might be 2-3 weeks and make one in a couple days. I don't know. But if you want to see when I finally do make a video and you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. Those few views that I get mean a lot. Unless that's my Dead by Daylight video, I got 400. I don't know how. But so with that, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.